Hello everybody, welcome. It's me John, aka Nosy, and I'm back for another figure review. Today I'm actually doing something a little bit different. I'm actually reviewing a birthday present I got off my good friend Sam, Jupiter Firestorm. Yeah, he got me a Star Wars figure. He got me this guy, obviously this is the back card, ARC Trooper Jesse, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, the vintage collection. So without further ado, let's get into the titles and let's get into the review. Here we are then. So here is ARC Trooper Jesse, part of the vintage collection Star Wars toy line, and I'm doing this in this format, disembodied hands, because he is such a small figure and he's pretty detailed. So I figured, pardon the pun, to to do it in this format. So yeah. One of these very, very small dinky diddle toys. But yeah, so here he is. So this is ARC Trooper Jesse. As is, straight out of the box. I will show you his accessories in a moment. Well, actually, no, I'll get them out the way now, actually. Well, I'll put him to one side. So we get a really nice, removable helmet, which has really, really lovely markings. It really does have lovely markings. You see the blue and the white. This also is articulated. It can actually go in front of his visor like that, as intended. That's the whole point of that. Long range sniping and stuff. Have a look at the moulding. Oops. It's quite difficult to keep hold of it because it's so small. But yeah, really nice detailing on the helmet. Really nice indeed. The only downside is, I would say, is that this, I think it's probably starting to bend. It looks like that is actually starting to bend out the box. So, or it is intended or designed to be like that. I don't know. But yeah, this will likely over time will probably, fall off. Because even though it is articulated, I'm sure, to go in front of the visor, but I'm probably not going to move that much, to be quite honest with you, because I don't want it to break, seeing as this was a gift and all. But yeah, really, really, really lovely helmet. So yeah, so we've got the helmet, put that there, and then we get quite an array of weapons. With it being an ARC Trooper, we get this, I guess, long-range sniper kind of rifle kind of thing. It's very standard black, very bendy plastic, which I've had Star Wars figures in the past, and the plastic hasn't really changed over the years, in my opinion. And then he gets his regular kind of blaster, but it has like a port on this side so that you can actually store it in his backpack. But it also kind of looks a bit like a clip as well, like a real gun. And he also has two very, very, very dinky, I'm going to have to be very careful with these, little pistols. Literally both identical. You see? Very, very, very small. So yeah, so there's these accessories. So let's bring in Jesse. Okay then, so zoomed in a little bit so you can see him a little bit better. So yeah, so he has a pretty decent head sculpt. It's not very, very close, but it's not the worst head sculpt either. To be honest, I think they get the Stormtrooper characters and things like that kind of quite, I think they get the likeness pretty close, usually. But his likeness to the actor is actually really close, and you get that really nice tattoo on his head as well. I apologise, this camera doesn't do focus very well. bring him up, you see his moulded detailing and the colour variation. See the blue, obviously, signature blue and white. And blue and white, silver on his arms and his arm apparatus. Comms, probably. In his armour. And the blue on this is really nice, like fabric as well. It's like a rubber, like a more stiffer rubber. So this is all rubber, and it is movable as well. So I assume you can probably take that off, probably somehow, but I'm not gonna. Then is his backpack, and it is a little bit of difference in colour. Got a bit of like a grey, and then the black. Which is nice that they actually did that, so you've got a little bit of difference. And then you've got a little port there, as you can see on the side, which is for storage of his gun, one of his guns. And then either side of his hip, let me get it, there we go. These here, actual holsters. So he's got one on each side, so he can actually hold his pistols. The only downside is, well, obviously, this guy isn't going to be moving very much. This guy isn't going to be moving very much, to be quite honest with you, because I don't want to lose any of the parts. I will probably put this guy in my glass detolf so that if anything does fall off, it's going to be within there, so it's not going to go anywhere. But yeah, he's very small parts, but it is pretty cool that he has the ability to hold and store everything of his accessories. So what we're going to do now then, we're going to move on and marry him with his helmet. So that just goes over his head, as you can see, very nicely, carefully, and there we go. So there's his helmet on. It goes on quite nicely, and it is quite snug as well, so it doesn't just fall off easily. So what I'm going to do for the review purposes, I'm not going to put his pistols in, because they don't seem to sit in his hands as snugly as his rifles. And plus I don't want to lose the parts, I don't want to lose the guns. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show his rifles in his hands, so obviously you get the point, get the idea. And there we are. So it goes in very, very nicely. You just sort of like put it in on an angle if you wish, if it makes it a bit easier. You put it in on a little bit of an angle, then you just kind of, you see one of his fingers is slightly arched to go into the trigger, the trigger area. And then obviously his bigger weapon does exactly the same thing, just goes into that hand or whatever hand you wish. The only downside is I don't think this stores anywhere. I think he has to literally actually physically hold it. The weapon I've got in his hand right now is the only weapon that actually has the ability to be stored in the backpack here. And yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I'm going to go into articulation now. I mean, obviously, anyone that's ever had these smaller figures, or to be honest, Star Wars figures in general, I think the larger figures have a lot more range of articulation, where you can move the legs around a lot more. This guy is articulated, but he's hindered by these flappy, skirty bits that are part of his outfit, that where his guns go in and his holsters and everything. So his legs, he does have knee bend, and and then he does have a bit of a swivel as well. So the leg swivels. Then the arms can go about here. The arms can go about there, and then he's got an elbow, and also that wrist can move as well. And he's got full 360 pivot, and a bit of pivot there in the waist. and his head can turn and bop up and down. So, you know, not too bad. You can get some poses out of this little guy. But to be honest with you, he is mostly, obviously, was you know, he's meant to be on a shelf or something, really. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, the plastic quality, it's like a plastic and rubber sort of combination, which it's very similar to like the GI Joes, the real little GI Joes, very similar kind of plastic quality, or the same kind of like feel of the plastic, or the materials used. But yeah, it's a decent little figure. He is a really decent little figure. I do like him. It's really, really cool. I think they've absolutely nailed his helmet and his costume. He looks pretty cool. You know, the head sculpt as well looks pretty decent. Yeah, some nice detailings in there as well. It is a decent little figure, and I am very, very happy to have him in the collection. I don't have many Star Wars stuff. I would like to buy into it a little bit more, but this was a gift from a good friend Sam, so let's say a big thank you to Sam for picking this guy up for me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been my review on the Vintage Collection Star Wars The Clone Wars ARC Trooper Jesse. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the review. Thank you ever so much for watching. More videos coming very, very soon. And again, big thank you to Sam for the figure in question in today's review. And so yeah, thank you so much, my friend, and thank you everyone for watching if you did, and please continue to support the channel if you in any way you can. Share the video with friends, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. You know, but thank you ever so much for your continued support as always. I'll be back with more videos very soon, and see you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.